Hello YouTube, my name is Sean Connors and welcome back to Outsiders, my channel. Tonight I'm going to be talking about the retro system, magic system, in a bit more detail. We've already started to flesh out to the bone a bit about the background, how to create the characters and so on, but we've now got to put some flesh on the bone. I appreciate a lot of you have got a lot of questions, some of them very valid, but I think until you understand the mechanics, some of the questions, although sound very reasonable, actually don't follow the maths of the system. I think you have to wait to see the whole system, guys. I know you're keen to give some feedback, and that's great. But the sort of feedback I'm looking for, to be honest, is more about is it going to work? What do you think about it? What are your thoughts? What are your fears? That sort of thing. Rather than, oh, you know, couldn't you do this and couldn't you do that? Well, I've had to think about the whole system as a whole and still keep it retro. So I hope you appreciate there's a lot of work involved in that. It's a tricky process. So just believe the maths will work and try to wait to see more meat on the bone, and then obviously jump in there, and I need your feedback. But anyway, on this one, I certainly will need your feedback. It's all about spells use. Now, the spell system I originally wrote for Outsiders, I'm going to put straight in. And it's literally this. This is, you could run the spell system just on this page. Yet it's just as diverse as D&D and has many more spells than Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't even have to write them out. Now, let me explain how it works. It's a spell point system, and we're going to cover spell points off in another video. But simply, there are runes. So there are fire, water, earth, air, detection, protection, summon, communication, movement, plants, animal, healing, illusions, mind, and necromancy. There are also weapon runes, armor runes. And there are styles of magic, so you have create, perceive, transform, destroy, move, and control. And it's through the styles that tell you how many magic points are used and what effect you've actually created, and also tells you actually how much damage it does. It's very, very, very simple. And I'm going to try and quickly explain that to you right now. So let me give you an example. So let's use an old example, probably be best. So let's say somebody wanted to create a fireball effect. They've got the fire rune. They've already, bought that as a skill. Firstly, you would, as the caster, have to decide on the styles required to create the fireball. The styles are create. Firstly, you must create the fire, so create. Then you must shape and control it. Then send it to its target, which is move. So you see, those three styles are critical to actually creating this spell. So create, control, and send. If you create something and send it, you have no control over it, and therefore that's dangerous to the caster. So you can see it's a very descriptive system. Also, because it took three styles, you know straight away that it's used up 3 magic points. Now, because it's taken 3 styles, you also know by default that your particular magic uses whatever your magic level is. So if, for example, you're using D8s, then you know the fireball is a D8 fireball. Now, you can make it a bit more powerful, a fireball, or put in more magic points into it. But magic points in my world were always quite low. You got magic points, but they were slow to replenish. Now, whether we use that mechanic or not, we can debate that later. But you get the idea. So very simple. So if you start thinking about things, you can start working out spells in your head. You can start thinking about ways to save points. So certain spells to save power magic points. It pretty much can cover any angle, but it's all based on the runes. So if you've got a rune, let's call it, I don't know, illusions, and you come up with an idea how would you make yourself invisible. I'm just thinking off the bag here. You would need to transform the air around you and move it with you. So simple as that. So there you go. And probably control it. So there's 3 things: transform, move, and control. So that's how you would describe it. And you try to describe it. That was the other essence of this magic system. So there, in a nutshell, is the magic system. Let's quickly recap this, right? So it's rune-based. You've heard the runes. Each of the runes will cost a certain amount of background points to open up, and obviously experience points later to open up, depending on what they are. Obviously, it's easier at the beginning of my system to open up anything, whether it be skill or magic or etc., with your background points, because it's cheaper than trying to buy it through experience, which is more expensive, which makes sense. And this also is an equalising, a balancing factor, because maybe somebody who's got a lot of background points, wants to go down multiple routes. He's going to have less points to spend in magic. He could go down a magic route, but who's to say one player just doesn't go down 1 or 2 runes and become a specialist or a master at those? And I've got a whole host of skills and things like that. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. It's about my magic system. It's open-ended. It opens up a whole plethora of ideas. I'm just hoping you like it. I look forward to your feedback. I hope it's something you're going to enjoy. It's certainly something my players loved, and we must have wrote hundreds of spells down just off this one idea. Now, it's often people have said, yeah, Reminds me a little bit of Ars Magica. Well, I say, you know what, that's a bloody good thing, because it will fit this theme really well. But this system I wrote myself years ago, and it is that. It's an A4 piece of paper. Very easy to share, very easy to talk about, and fairly ingenious, really. And there's a little bit more to it than that, but I wanted to share that with you tonight while I still had the chance. Anyway, I've been Sean Connors. This has been Outsiders. Happy gaming. Until the next time. Bye-bye.